data journalists. We put a ton of time and effort into reporting a story, into building data sets, into verifying, cleaning, analyzing the data, and then bringing it together in a story to be clear and accurate. So when it comes time to presenting it visually, of course, the natural result is something that looks kind of like this. Chances are that anything that you are making is not going to be as bad as the examples in this talk, but behind the most heinous of examples are some pretty common mistakes. Let's say that you have some figures that you think are pretty interesting. You say, hey, I'll put it on a map, I'll put it on a chart. Well, not so fast. Not everything needs to be a chart. Let's take this one. It's from Mint. Nothing about this chart is erroneous. It's just completely useless. This is a more interesting figure. The problem is I challenge you to figure out what in the world it's trying to say. You have to read the fine print at the bottom to know it's about divorce rates. And this is actually important information about risk factors for breast cancer. The problem is it takes me more time to figure out the symbols and the key than it does to actually read the text next to each item. It doesn't need to be that complicated. So once you do decide, yes, I'm going to make this into a visualization, here's what you need to do. Watch your scale. Scale has everything to do with the way that we understand information. It has to do with the way we perceive value and the way we make comparisons across items. And if you're not being consistent or transparent with your scale, then you run the risk of really misleading your users. So this is a fun graphic. How many tables stacked on top of each other would be the same height as these landmarks? I never knew until now that Mount Everest and the Empire State Building are virtually the same height. Why should we size these objects based on numerical values when we could just size them based on what month it is? And here are some welfare statistics. If you take a closer look, you'll notice that there are no labels on the y-axis, and it definitely does not start at 0. Rectangles don't mean anything there. Okay, know your data types. Data can come in a lot of different forms. It can be quantitative, qualitative, it can be discrete, categorical, continuous numbers, and we can have percentages and ratios. I know, pie charts. Those are made for percentages. Not this one. The problem with this chart is not even that it adds up to more than 100. The problem is it's not a pie chart. Pie charts show parts of a whole. This is a bunch of stats that just happen to be percentages. You want to ask yourself, is my data categorical, or is it continuous? Does it fall into buckets, or can it be interpolated along the line? And this one, I don't know. All right, double check your information and do it again. It's really easy when you're publishing to add up a number wrong or misplace a label. Just make sure it doesn't happen to you. We could spend a lot of time debating whether or not this information needs to be on a map, but I think what's more at stake is that Kenya seems to have moved to South America. And we have a new country. It's called Colombia, but spelled with a U. What was the best part of the Super Bowl? 73% said yes.
It's awesome.
Dead center are unintentionally brilliant. All right, last point. Don't overdo it. Sometimes the best way to portray information is the simplest way. We should be making our visualizations visually engaging, but not to the point where it really confuses people who are using it. If your key ends up being that size compared to the actual graphic, then I think you might be confusing some readers. And this looks pretty fun, except the baseline, I don't know where the baseline is. Where is it going to be? I can't make these comparisons. I just have one last example. It's a bar chart, but someone decided to make it so much more than that. Actually, I kind of love this one. Scratch everything I said, we should only have smiley face graphics.